So we had a wild ending to the Formula One race that involved the leaders, not like the battle for points. That hasn't happened in a while. We're going to talk
That was
about that.
nice to see.
It was nice to see. It was different. Different is good. We've got that. We're going to talk a little bit about NASCAR at Bristol. It was a relatively outside of Dale and his pants catching on fire.
Boo.
Wait, which part?
At the end.
Oh
With
yeah. That
Denny.
we'll talk about that. Well, Denny the villain. We'll talk about that. We got a lot of iRacing stuff to talk about this week. Not a good week, but good learning experience week. So this is FR Racing's Garage Talk. I'm DJ Flook.
I'm Erik Richardson.
So we'll save the iRacing. Let's get right into just talk the NASCAR. I completely spaced Denny in his like Denny's post race interview was straight out of the WWE. Like that was I mean, that was an all-time great interview when the goal of the person is to just irk the crap out of the crowd. And I commend him for it. I don't care for Denny Hamlin for the reason that many other people that are fans of the sport do not care for Denny Hamlin. I mean, the guy's obviously a great driver, an all-time great driver, hasn't won his
Oh,
championship.
definitely.
Hasn't won a championship yet. But still, like he's kind of taking that villain role away from Kyle Busch this year.
Yeah, Kyle Busch has been pretty quiet. And I was
even at
kind of
times
like
even at times borderline likable.
I've kind of been a fan of Hamlin, but it's kind of going away this year. Not gonna lie there.
I forget which one. One of my kids likes Denny Hamlin because they like the purple on the FedEx car. Like it's usually why kids pick a car. I mean,
I think a little bit
part of the
more
reason to do
of
it.
it is watching his Pocono incidents this year and last year, and then actually listening to him on the podcast and how he kind of whines about some things, but then he goes out and does the exact same thing he's whining about next week.
Yeah. But it's okay if he does it. It's not okay if anyone else does it. That's
Yeah, and I mean I get it, race hard. I like that racing, and I like the nature that he's bringing. It's bringing attention to NASCAR,
it is,
but
and
you get that balance.
having the villain in any sport is necessary. Every sport, you look back at like the great eras of any sport, there were always the villains for whatever reason. You look at like the 90s, the late 90s, it was the New York Yankees. You look at
The Detroit
the
Pistons,
Detroit
the bad
Pistons,
boys of
yes,
Detroit.
the bad boys. They if you unless you were a Pistons fan, you hated the Detroit Pistons.
Yes.
And looking back on that, it was some of the most incredible basketball I've ever seen. Not from a straight skill standpoint, but from the fact that like your people putting elbows into like throats and punching people in the ribs and people going up for layups and they're just clotheslining people. And I'm just like, man,
Yeah, I miss that in basketball right now.
that's NBA hasn't been like that in a long time, but this is not an NBA show. The point is, Denny has embraced the villain role.
He
He's
really
loving it.
has.
He's loving the hell out of it.
He's
But
probably having more fun this year by doing this than he has in all of his success.
he has. I completely agree. But then he has the other thing too, is he's got his, he's driving for one team. He owns another team, co-owns another team with Michael Jordan, who's possibly the most liked basketball player of all time, probably the most liked most well-known basketball player globally of all time.
Oh, easy.
And
And his brand still outsells basically the entire NBA.
yeah, they were talking. I saw this stat the other day that in Michael Jordan's first contract with the Bulls, he made like $6 million in like, what was it, like 5 or 6 years or something like that. Maybe it was 6 or 7 years, something, which was absurd for the time. I mean, that's nothing today, but it was absurd for the time. It's like, yeah, it took him like 7 years to make $6 million with the Bulls. He makes like $6 million every 6.5 days now with this Nike contract. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just
it's ridiculous.
something absolutely absurd like that. I mean, probably got this wrong, but it's close. The point is the man is just printing money. and he's putting it back into NASCAR, which is really cool. I mean,
it's actually really cool to see. Basketball guy.
I mean,
actually, Brad Doherty now. There's
well,
two
not
basketball guys.
well. I mean, Brad's been around for a long time in NASCAR, and
But yeah, getting Jordan in
I,
last few years.
I remember when I first saw Brad Doherty, I'm like, wait, Brad Doherty, like Cleveland Cavalier, early '90s, late '80s, early '90s. Brad Doherty, the same
Wait,
guy.
what's he doing?
Yeah. I saw one of his. It's always funny when, like, not funny, but it is amusing when like his driver Ricky Stenhouse Jr. wrecked at one point. Oh, it was during the Chicago street race. He wrecked during qualifying, and they cut back to Brad, and I forget who it was. Kyle Petty he was sitting with, and he's like, "Ooh, that just cost you a couple $100,000." And you just see Brad just like visibly annoyed at the situation.
I like how each week that Formula One money tracker comes out, how much drivers have cost their teams.
Yeah, Mr. Sargent is leading the way, but some of that was not his fault.
No,
He had
him and Stroll are right up there.
Stroll, man, that was
took a hit.
Hard hit. I mean, hard enough. He had to sit out Sunday.
Yeah, he's out this week too.
Oof. They have a backup announced?
I think I saw, but I don't remember.
I have to check that out.
Yeah, where's NASCAR off to now? I don't remember. I should know this.
I should know this too, and I'm ashamed I don't.
Are they going back to Nashville too?
No. I'm really embarrassed that I don't know this off the top of my head.
Yeah, feel free to make fun of us for not knowing basic information.
I don't really care. Make fun of me. Texas, what? We were just talking about that in iRacing.
It's Texas. Yeah, that's why the trucks are at Texas.
That's why Texas.
Yeah.
But the trucks are off this week. It's just Xfinity and Cup.
It's been a long day.
Speaking of Texas, you want to hear a rumor? Indy might lose the Texas race next year.
No, please at least replace it with another oval.
Yeah, right. So Phoenix. Not sure why that is, but some of the rumors is that NASCAR, who hasn't published their schedule for next year either, is potentially, again, this is all speculation from people that may or may not be connected to the sport, or may have sources, may not, maybe just talking out of their butts, that Texas race might get moved to the spring. And because of the agreement, NASCAR has priority at the track over IndyCar.
Indy has enough open weekends, just move it.
Yeah, right. I mean,
you only race every third week, it feels like.
Yeah, and if it would have been easy to move it if you wouldn't have added the $1 million race at the country club.
Oh, IndyCar.
So Raj has some things to work out. Been quiet in the Indy front.
I'm interested to see their new schedule.
The other thing is, I guess the other rumor with IndyCar and their schedule holdup is that the Toronto City Council has to vote to authorize allowing the race on the streets again. And it's just a formality. I guess they just haven't voted on it yet, or they hadn't as of the article I read, which probably has been more than a week now. So who knows?
I want to see him go back to running at airports like CART did.
Oh man, I was just thinking that actually one of a friend of mine,
so cool.
A friend of mine went to an air show at the Cleveland airport where they used to run the kart race there, and I'm like, go back there. That place was awesome.
Oh, so many tracks would be cool if they could get back to Pikes Peak, Cleveland Airport.
I don't know. I don't
get back to Phoenix.
I would love
this new layout would be amazing to watch.
I think it would be fun if the mistakes that keep happening is they just do a crap job promoting it. Like I honestly, like, I had just moved here maybe 9 months before the final race that they had in Phoenix, and I didn't go. I only found out about it like the day before because I know somebody who has a connection to the series, or I work with somebody who has a connection to the series. And yeah, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna go. And I sat next to him, and he comes in on Monday. I go, how was it? And he goes, I honestly fell asleep. He goes, I woke up and watched like the last 10 laps. And I said, you fell asleep at an IndyCar race? He's like, well, not literally, but it was super boring until like the last 10 laps. But
It'll be a big change for them with the schedule adjustments. They get a new engine,
yeah, that sounds pretty much the same.
just more horsepower,
That will be fun.
and I want to see how they use it.
Don't think we're gonna see a chassis change next year though. God, can you believe that they've been on the same chassis for over a decade now?
Just the adjustment with the
Yeah,
aeroscreen.
I mean it's still the DW12 essentially. I mean it's a modified DW12.
I think they need to figure out a balance to keep the downforce, but make it a little bit more. You have to drive it to for the ovals to get more racing. It helped this year,
yes,
but Indianapolis is still just a draft train.
and
That
people
is
just trying to
all it is.
whip the train, whip the snake. David Malukas posted on his social today, and he said, "I'm heading back to school," and he's wearing a backpack and walking in a parking lot, and he turned his phone camera around, and he walked up to a door that says Arrow McLaren on the door. So it is official. He has officially started at Arrow McLaren.
Yeah, good for him. So yeah, NASCAR next round.
Oh, and
That's the
back to the
eliminations.
Xfinity race. Dale Jr. was having a great run out there, and then his car caught on fire and
Yep.
burn a hole through his pants.
Yeah, I saw that.
He was giving an interview after the race, or after after he was done, he was checked out, and the reporter that was I forget who it was, but the reporter who was talking to him and obviously knows him, works with him, goes, "You smell really bad." He's like, yeah, I looked down, I'm like, hey, I'm on fire, I gotta stop. And yeah, he pulled out, and one of the other crews came over with the fire extinguisher and put the fire out. Good thing for those fire suits.
Yeah. Imagine back in the day, just a pair of jeans and a t-shirt.
David Pearson, open-faced helmet, smoking a cigarette while he's driving at Daytona.
Classic. It's just
one of my favorite memes ever is like, you may be cool, but you're not David Pearson smoking a cigarette while driving 200 miles an hour. Cool.
Yeah, nobody's gonna be that cool again.
When smoking really was cool. Don't smoke, kids. Don't. Bad idea.
No, don't do it. So round of 12 for NASCAR.
Yep. Martin Truex and his former girlfriend Sherry Pollex, who she passed away from ovarian cancer, and she was just a great ambassador to cancer awareness. She did a lot. She'd been
Really
diagnosed in, I think it was like 2014, and but she had done so much for pediatric cancer kids. And there's like this iconic clip that I want to say was it Bob Pockris may have posted. They did like this fashion show for kids with cancer, and as like this kind of thing of confidence, the kid took her wig that she was wearing after chemo and ripped her wig off and just slammed it on the ground, and she went out there without the wig on, just kind of to show the kids, like, you can do this. I mean, just an inspirational woman. And
it's cool being able to see something like that.
it's unfortunate. It's just cancer just sucks. It just takes too many people, and especially ovarian cancer is one of those where it's just like, you don't want to hear ovarian cancer. It's just, it's unfortunately, it's just a death sentence so many times. And just rough. It's just see her pass. I mean, unfortunately, I didn't know. Obviously, I knew who she was. I knew what she did. I just wasn't as familiar with how I probably should be with what she did. But it just lost a great woman the other day. And I am going to mention Danica Patrick. I don't know what she was thinking. I don't know what she was thinking. Sometimes, like maybe there is something to what she's saying. Maybe not. Maybe it's just Danica trying to call attention. I mean, it was her calling attention to herself. It's just she took an absolute beating for her criticism of Martin Truex Jr.'s statement and implied some things and absolutely took a total beating on social media for it, and rightfully so. It was just absolutely inappropriate.
Yeah, maybe if you do have beef or there's some legitimacy to it, do it later.
Not it's not the place to do it. Wrong place. Absolute wrong place.
But there's a time and a place for everything. Like the next day after something like that, come on.
Yeah, it's just ugh. Oh, that was brutal. Anyway, Dale's pants on fire. Sheldon Creed took out Austin Hill, his teammate. I'm not sure whatever happened with that. I mean, Richard Childress, I'm sure, was not happy.
Couldn't be. Don't take out teammates.
Yeah, it's like rule number one: if you're gonna crash, don't take out your teammate.
Hit
wreck somebody, hit somebody else, not your teammate, because now you just doubled the damage costs for the team
and double the work.
But otherwise, decent weekend in Bristol. I mean, it wasn't one of the more memorable Bristol races I've ever seen.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of bland, the finish.
It was a bland finish. There's no helmets thrown. I didn't see any punches. I mean, it's pretty tame for a Bristol night race.
Yeah. It really was.
Thing is, like, people see, we need to see more emotion in NASCAR. We need to see these guys out there throwing punches at each other and getting mad at each other every time they wreck, and they're not, and they're buddies. They should hate each other. It's like, why? Like, why?
It's okay to be competitive on the track and friends off.
Right. There's not a problem. Like, it's like
to see at least a little bit closer competition, especially at Bristol, like bang off some doors and at least leave a tire mark on the side.
Yeah,
I miss those days of NASCAR.
Oh yeah, where you see the tire ring on the side. There were a few of those this weekend, not many, but I do remember seeing a few of them. Let's get into the Formula One. Oh, we almost missed that.
F1.
Yeah, it was honestly, it was probably the best race of the year.
Won.
So Max and Checo missed Q3. Max gets bumped out of Q3 because of Liam Lawson in the AlphaTauri. Storms off after shutting everything down. Still manages to finish 5th. But he was a good...
Yeah, they had a weird pit strategy, and it seemed like the field split.
When was the last time that there were 3 or more cars battling for the win on the final lap of a Formula One race?
It has to have been a long time, or just a race I don't remember.
I can't remember. I mean, I'm sure it's happened somewhat recently, but my memory of Formula One races beyond a couple of years ago are pretty blurry for the most part.
It was fun to watch.
It was a good finish, and Carlos Sainz snaps the Red Bull. No Red Bull. 2 things were snapped this weekend is that the Red Bull clean sweep of wins is over, and Max did not podium for the first time all season. So only one driver has podiumed every race in a season. Can you name him? This should be easy. Here's a softball for you.
One driver's podiumed
every race in a season. There only one driver has ever done that in Formula One, where they podiumed every single race.
what, probably like Hamilton or Schumacher.
It was Michael Schumacher. Yeah.
I thought you were talking this year. I'm like,
Oh no,
not this
ever,
year.
ever. Actually, there's this funny meme I saw the other day. It says, "Oh, you like Formula One? Name 3 drivers," and they go Schumacher, and it cuts into the next box. Like, oh, I made that too easy.
Well, you at least get 2 drivers if you say Schumacher.
You got 3. Ralph, don't forget Ralph.
I was thinking Michael and Ralph.
Michael, Ralph, Mick.
You got Mick.
Yeah.
So not wrong.
But yeah, I mean, that was a good finish. Carlos kind of sandbagging a little bit.
Carlos Sainz with an IQ of 10,000 during the race.
It was
one of the cheekiest things I think I've seen in racing, and it's awesome.
The line I used, and the thing is, his strategist didn't even know that what he was doing. He did it, he called him as like he's what did you say? It was like 0.8. He's like, I know.
Yeah, it's like what, 7-8 laps to go, I think, and he goes, I need to know how far behind Norris is every lap. Then next time by, he goes, Norris is closing 0.8. He goes, I know, it's on purpose. But he was trying to keep letting Lando get close enough that he could activate DRS to defend against the 2 Mercedes.
Yep. Brilliant. And because Carlos felt that if the Mercedes, one or both of the Mercedes gets by Lando, he is toast.
I agree. I think he gets past. They run newer mediums.
He would have been toast with Lewis. George, on the other hand, had an unfortunate finish.
Yeah, well, he hit the gap in Singapore.
The Senna quote about you always have to find the gap, and he has that quote on this meme, and underneath it you have George's car crashed into it, and then the sign says that he's crashed into says Singapore, and somebody circled the GAP in Singapore.
Yeah, his nose like hit the A right where it says gap.
And I they on TV they put on the broadcast of George just like, yeah. I was just completely frustrated. But then I went back and I watched the in-car. There were about 30 F-bombs dropped in about, I don't know.
His car did
40 seconds.
Turn. He just missed his braking point, I think.
He did, yep. Just slid right in. And
it's such a great move.
You see in the cool down room there, Lewis is the last one in. And they're taking the helmets off and hands and everything, and they're putting their stuff up on the shelf, and Lewis like knocks the stuff on the floor, and he's just like, "Oops." Just like, you gotta watch these little things. I don't know. I just find these little things really funny. They're not, but I find.
Yeah, great race. Somebody besides Red Bull and Verstappen won it. Slightly amazed it was a Ferrari and Sainz.
And Liam in the points. Liam in the points. He's already surpassed De Vries. He's already surpassed Logan Sargent.
AlphaTauri this week has come out and acknowledged that Ricciardo and Tsunoda are going to be the drivers next year.
Is it official? I
did see that.
I couldn't find that today when you told me that.
Lawson will not be in. So that sets the field pending what happens with Andretti.
Or unless somebody gets a surprise boot.
Yep.
I mean, you could see Sargent get the boot potentially. You could see, honestly,
Sargent and Checo, I think, are the 2 on hot seats.
Yes, because I think everything else has been the other wild card is Lance Stroll. And it almost is like, does he want to come back? Which is really weird to me. Because his father owns Aston Martin, and there's all these rumors that he wants to quit and go try to become a professional tennis player. And you hear these things and you just hope that this is just totally made up. But at the same time, it sounds completely based on what we know about the guy and what seems like kind of a lack of passion for what he does, it seems completely plausible that he may like quit Formula One to go try to become a professional tennis pro.
Now here you go. Lance Stroll goes plays tennis. Aston Martin seat is open. Alex Blow takes it.
he would qualify. He is super license eligible.
No, what did I see? Pato Award
We'll be doing some
going to be testing with McLaren.
Was it Mexico?
No.
I saw that he was.
It would have made sense, but I want to say it was somewhere else, actually. No, Abu Dhabi.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Brain is
because it's like, why would you not test in Mexico?
Fans would love it. Oh man, the fans would love it. He's a hero down there. What Pato Award is to Mexico, Scott Dixon should be to New Zealand, and he's not. And that just blows my mind.
Oh, I don't know if we touched on it last week. Speaking of like kind of national heroes, the kind of hate mail that Callum Ilott got.
Yeah, that
Argentinian fans.
That also was a little.
That was a little rough.
Careful, they might come after us next.
Hey, if you want to do that and help get us some,
give us some free publicity with your threats. Just don't actually follow through with them, please. That was weird, and I don't think that. I mean, did the team ever? I think the team issued a statement, basically saying,
the team did, like, hey, don't do this.
But
I thought it was a little soft, though.
It was pretty soft. It was a weak statement, and nothing from the actual ownership. Like, there was no Ricardo Juncos saying anything. I mean, I don't think it was handled very well.
No. I mean, I get it. You want to be passionate for your countrymen or favorite driver, but there's a line. Come on.
The Argentinian fans are just vicious. They were after Malukas and his crew from Gateway, where his crew kicked his car.
It's like you almost ran over a crew member.
Yeah, you almost ran over a crew member, and you get upset because the crew member stomped on the car. Like, he should be banished from them. So, like, for what? Getting upset that you almost killed him? Like,
I do like how the next week they found funny humor.
The team thought it was
footprint
funny.
on it.
Actually, I did see this on they put the clip on Instagram on the IndyCar page. And a fan from Argentina is like, that crew member should be banished from IndyCar. And people are just ripping them for what? Like,
why?
They got pissed because the driver almost killed him, or almost ran over his foot.
Yeah, I'd give him a high five after that. Run me over, I'll give you a high.
Hey, good job, buddy. Yeah, way to kill that guy. Yeah, that's it was dumb.
Formula One, Japan.
Yeah, we're gonna do a race day live because it's a late night. You're gonna have a couple of brewskis and some. Maybe I'll pull out that the red wine, that red wine whiskey that I drank in the spring during the Australia race. I haven't touched it since.
I need to get out and see if I can't find an old style.
Oh, you're gonna do some Chicago handshakes during the event?
Yeah, I might have to.
I only have one can of old style left, so.
We should do it. Might have been my fifth choice on the food pyramid in college.
Old style was always my first choice going to Wrigley Field. And I did that a lot between college and the first several years after school.
That's where I got my grain for a while.
Wait, here's something I thought about the other day. We have never been to a Cubs game together.
No, we haven't.
Never. When I realized that blew my mind. I have been to Wrigley Field close to 60 times now. And never once you were there. I mean, it was always
me, never living in Chicago.
Yeah.
I've probably been up there for at least 20 games.
Yeah. And I'm just like, how is that possible? But I mean, in all those years,
you got to change that.
We had so many years to make that happen, and it never happened. And I can't believe
we got to find a way to make it happen. We're old now. Let's do it.
We got to do it. Just like, ever tell you that the time I was with my dad and my brother, and we got tickets onto one of the rooftops, and you sit in the bleachers, you go, or on the rooftops, and then it's like 90 degrees August day in Chicago. What do? You just take off your shirt. so so that's what I do. I take off my shirt, and I'm just sitting there in the bleachers, just this pale, skinny, shirtless guy just sitting there, across the street on the rooftops, just sitting there enjoying the August day in Chicago, shirtless.
Is that why the batters struggled that night or day, I should say?
Like, put on that shirt.
One of the best things I still like at Wrigley, come into the game and they start making the beer cup snake in the bleachers.
Yes. Have you ever sat in the bleachers though?
Yes, I have.
Oh man, that is such a
so
riot.
much fun. It's hilarious.
My favorite part of the bleachers is when right field and left field insult each other.
Yep.
Right field sucks. Right field sucks. Then you hear left field sucks. It sucks.
Now, are you right side or left side?
I have sat on both sides. Honestly,
I've been once. It was out and left.
I actually sat. I have twice sat in the front row of the bleachers. I made it in early enough, and it was just right of the batter's eye, under the scoreboard area. I got into the front row, and then I went with my dad one time, and we got in early enough, and we sat front row of the bleachers in right field. And where is it? Where is it?
Are you looking for a map of Wrigley?
No, I am not looking for. I'm looking for something even better. A home run ball.
Oh, nice.
It was batting practice, but still.
I was gonna ask, batting practice or
it was a batting practice ball, but still, like, how if a few people come away with these. This is actually the second foul ball I caught at Wrigley Field. I didn't catch this one because if I would have caught this one, I would have shattered my hand. Do you remember Cliff Floyd?
Yes.
Cliff Floyd hit an absolute rocket to right field, and it landed in the bleachers about 5 rows up. It dented the bleacher. And it bounced back down and landed in the front row. And me and like 2 drunk guys dove for it. And the 2 drunk guys couldn't figure out, like, the game hadn't even started. They were hammered, which, bleachers.
Yeah, it happens.
And so I end up on the ground. I grab it. I put it in my pocket. And the guy's like, where'd the ball go? And I'm just like, not saying a thing. Not saying a thing. Actually, the other ball's a batting practice ball, too. This was from Cubs versus the Red Sox, June 10th, 2005. And this one I actually caught. It was a foul ball on the third base line. Well, okay. So there's an asterisk next to the catch. So these geniuses, the foul ball gets hit into our section, and these geniuses put their hands up in the air. And so some genius goes, and the ball comes down, hits the person right in the palm of their hand, bounces back up, and it just comes right over to me, and I just see it come down like, oh my God.
I have caught one foul ball. It was at Coors Field. As soon as it left the bat, I knew right where it was going, and I was camped out underneath it.
Was it a humidor ball?
That was their 25th anniversary year, so just a few years ago.
Probably a humidor ball then. Yeah,
it's fun. It's got the logo on it and everything.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, mine's just
last person to touch it before I did was Madison Bumgarner.
Oh, wow. Trying to remember who hit the Red Sox one. That wasn't anybody. It was a Cubs player, but that'll come to me later. Anyway,
baseball side note.
Yeah, baseball. We've talked some bad boys in Detroit. We've talked to some baseball here. We've got all kinds of good stuff. So,
well, if you look at our walls, I'm covered in baseball with the Cubs. You got
the W. You got the W flag right up there. So
it makes sense that we dabble in some Chicago Cubs baseball from time to time.
I mean, there's all kinds of stuff on the walls here. So, but yeah, we'll be on for. We haven't talked our iRacing stuff yet. We'll have to hit that up quick. But we'll be on the air. What time does that race start? It's like 10 p.m. Pacific, I think.
Yeah, I think it's 1:00 my time. Yay. I'm up late anyway,
Yeah,
so it's
you're up.
okay.
You're up late anyway. It's not late for me. Okay. So I think we've got potentially two more race day lives. One is Suzuka. If you're around, or maybe do Las Vegas, watch that train wreck.
It depends what time I get home. I will be excuse me, I'm on the road coming back from Oberlin, Ohio at that time.
Hey, bus driver, pick it up.
I'll tell them at the meet, like, hey, get moving. I got a race to watch.
I may give Andy Amendola a call and tell him, hey, I need you to fill in until Erik gets back.
Hey, Eric's gonna be late. You come join
Eric's
us.
like, I need you here. Come on here. And then Erik will stop in when he's back. But we'll figure it out.
I'll be the guest on my own co-hosted show. Yes.
You've been replaced. And off he goes. He has walked off. Erik has walked off the set, and he's back.
Pulling my Pat McAfee impression.
Like, you sent me the hashtag of the show. I'm like, yeah, that was on purpose.
It had to be.
Hashtag PMS Live. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I never really put two and two together. I'm watching Pat McAfee show.
Very good, Pat.
He's a Colts punter. He's hilarious. I listen to him on Bob and Tom.
Yeah, he's my only critique of him is like on College Game Day, like everything he does, he wants to turn it into a like Instagram zinger, and not everything's going to be an Instagram zinger. Like Lee Corso might be able to pull that off, but you could blame like age and senility and ripping helmets off and saying F it on live TV. That's
thing I like. Pat McAfee just doesn't care. He says what he wants.
He certainly does. So we got football, we got baseball, we got some basketball in here tonight. Want to do hockey while we're at it? That season's coming back.
Soon. Let's talk Wednesday Night Dash behind closed doors. I'm sure I can find a hockey reference somewhere in there. So
behind closed doors, we went to Phoenix this week, and I'm at kind of a plateau where it's just like can't hold on. I can keep with you for a little bit, but when you start getting into the anti-roll bar, making those adjustments on the fly, like I just don't have that figured out yet. And I think that's my big problem. How much did you rely on in-car settings during? I mean, we didn't have a single yellow flag, even though I don't know why I didn't get one for when I smacked the wall.
I really didn't adjust that much during the run. I was just maneuvering weight jacker, and I made one roll bar adjustment at the beginning that I stuck with.
Yeah, I made one slight adjustment to the roll bar, the front anti-roll bar. And
did you go higher or lower?
I went higher.
I actually went lower.
Really?
Yeah, loosen up that front a little bit.
That might have been my problem. I just that's the thing, is I felt too loose, so that's why I went the other way.
Makes sense.
It's just coming around 4. It was just kind of there was like coming into 3 and 4. There's like this sweet spot where if you kind of get down close to the wall and brake just a little bit, or not even brake, but come off the throttle just a little bit, you can kind of coast through, come up high, as long as you're
if you time it and place it just right, you can fly through there. If you're off a little, you are going to blast the outside wall.
Yes, or you're going to have to lose a bunch of time compensating.
Yep.
And I would say probably, one, I smacked the wall, but I would say I probably only hit that maybe 10% of the race. Every other time I missed and I lost a bunch. The thing is, like, you guys are running like 19.5, 19.6, like 40 laps into your run.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like 20.4, and I'm just like, good God, I hate this. I quit.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but cars always have water temperature issues.
They do.
Even in the official races at Phoenix, they've had issues. And so a lot of the 20 points that you see is actually me just trying to manage water temp.
Yeah. And I finally got it down. And I'm just so far behind, and I'd been a couple laps down, and I'm just, it was a lost cause.
I'm glad it was only 150 laps and not 155. Because it would have been interesting battle for the win. Because Derek Booker was hauling.
He
at
was.
The end.
Yeah, he just found this like second wind towards the end. It's like, man, where did you find that speed? Holy crap.
I think he found some speed in the adjustments.
Like, he was hauling it. Yeah, he was doing some pretty crazy stuff with his anti-roll bar. And he's like, I'm coming off the throttle, changing the roll bar, coming back on the throttle, changing it back. I'm like, dang, that's pretty,
he's doing a lot of adjustments in the middle of turns.
That's pretty sophisticated. I'm just trying to survive the turn. That's where I'm at skill wise. You're like light years ahead of me.
Catching is one thing, passing is
Correct.
completely different.
On that note, let's go to Wednesday night dash. And
I needed 5 more laps there.
You needed 5 more laps, but to start with, I got stuck behind you and I couldn't get by. I was faster and I could not get by you. And I just got overly aggressive. It just kind of smacked the wall. And the next thing I know, I'm about 4 seconds behind you. I'm like, dang it. But
yeah, first half of the run, we're like not even close to the pack, running 9th and 10th.
On the restart, though, holy crap.
Ooh, that was a lot of fun.
That was night and day different. And Andrew Hewitt was kind of hanging back with us in the first half. And he was, I restarted 9th. He restarted 8th. You restarted 7th. And I'm just like, I got to get by you. I got to get by you right away. And I'm going to take off. And I got past you very quickly. I don't remember how quickly I got past you, but I got past you.
It was in the first lap or two.
Yeah, and I got past you in the first lap. I cruised right by. I cruised right past Brian McKinney. I look and I'm seeing Andrew falling all the way back. I'm like, whoa, we left Andrew behind. And I am just pushing it. I get up to Colton, who is probably running about 5th at the time.
Yeah, he was.
I think
5th there.
He was running a pretty unusual line. He was kind of staying low, but he wasn't going as high, and it got pretty congested in there. So like I couldn't really do anything. And then Brian caught up. And now for like 2 laps or so, Brian and I are pretty aggressively racing each other. And this is like 30 to go at this point. Like there's still quite a bit left to go. And
that first 6 laps after our competition caution was wild.
I have to go back and watch that, because that was just those 6 laps before I screwed up royally was the most fun I think I've ever had in this league. The problem was we come around turn 4 and we come past the start finish line. I'm starting to kind of come back up, and I catch Brian out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, crap, I'm not clear. And I didn't get any help from my spotter. Or maybe it did, and I just don't know that I wasn't clear. And so I tried to back off without like completely losing it. And then I lost all my grip and slid up right into him and turned in front. Brian pushed me. I turned backwards, and my night was basically done. Brian fortunately kept going, and I'm just on the radio. I'm so sorry, man. That is all me. I just saw him too late, and I tried to back off, and I screwed up when I backed off. And I'm just like, man, like this was the most fun, and I ruined it after like 6 laps. And I'm just, but you
got around me, and then
I was gone. I was gone.
Then I go on a tear and drive up all the way past Colton. Yeah, I needed about 5 more laps. I was really starting to track down Tyler and Colton there in 3rd and 4th.
You would have caught Tyler. So Tyler had a moment with Jesse.
Well, that was a hard hit.
And
so good at iRacing.
Yeah, well, the thing with Jesse though, like it was at a spot where there's not a great camera angle. It's like if it would have been like, I don't know, 100 yards back, you would have had a really good view of it. But it was one of those transition shots on the TV where it like all of a sudden goes out from like the infield and you can't quite tell. But I don't think Tyler actually touched him.
I was watching, I think, the far chase,
Yeah.
and there was a slightest
There,
touch
it
that
was the
upset it.
but it shouldn't have turned him like that. I think there was some net code there. I don't think he, I mean, if he
It
touched it,
was the second hit. The first one like grazed enough to kind of unsettle the car. Then it looked like there was a second one that got a little bit more onto that corner, which caused it to lose that rear end, and that's what hooked up.
but But the problem with this new ARCA model is that Tyler was off pace after that. He was able to keep going, but
You bump the
uh,
front end at all, and you take
it,
damage.
oh, you're done. With mine, I didn't get meatballed, but I was so far off the pace. I think I was like a full second slower than everyone else after my wreck.
If you
And
take it flush on the side, you can more or less keep going as long as you
and
didn't
that's what happened to Brian
really
is
hit.
that most of the contact was on the side, and I turned into the wall. And
But yeah, if you get anything to the nose or the rear, it's gonna really unsettle that car.
this car is already unsettled to begin with. So
After their updates, I think they still have a little bit of work to do to get these
I agree.
dialed back in.
I'm wondering too if they're gonna, this isn't the current this isn't the current ARCA car that they're running. This is kind of an older gen. And I'm wondering if they're gonna update that at some point.
Move this into Legacy and maybe put the Gen 4 or something.
Well, I mean, there's guys in ARCA running Gen 6 cars now, like modified Gen 6s. I think
It'll be interesting to see. It is a popular series though, so they may leave it.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing is you touch something that people like. I was looking at this. There's a website it's called like Racing Junk, and there's like teams will put like old equipment up for sale. And let's see. Let's go to
Congrats to Dalton Wicker.
yeah, Dalton
Got the win. Caden, I believe, was second. Tyler third. Colton was right there. Those two, it was fun watching that battle.
Let's see. Asphalt oval racing cars. Let's take a look at Racing Junk, see what we can buy here too. Oh, there's an IndyCar in here. There is an IR04.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
IR04 with a Honda V6. We have two of these. It's considered an antique. Come on, guys. It's not an antique.
It is not that old yet.
What do you think it's more or less turnkey. You could run this thing today. It sounds like. What do you think a IR04 with a Honda V6 in it costs you?
Oh, what? I'm probably gonna be way off. 40, 50.
Try 130.
Yeah.
Oh man, look, good looking car though.
I'm not sure the point that much, but
yeah, it's. Oh, they got a red one too. You got a black one and a red one. That street stocks for sale. Let's see what a street stock costs.
I bet that goes cheaper. Oh, excuse me.
Matt. Hey, here's a street stock, or this is a SRL legal sportsman rebuilt in 2020, raced 6 times, $24,000. There you go. All right.
Speaking of other cars, iRacing, big announcement.
Yeah, SRX. Yeah. Hunter and I were just talking about that the other day. All right, you want to buy a 2021 NASCAR Toyota Camry. I think this is actually an old RFK.
Yes. I would like to have
90,000.
my own NASCAR.
Yeah, 90,000. Get yourself an old RFK. You can get Ryan Newman's old Oscar Mayer short track cup car. 39.9. Does that include everything? No way. Not for 39.9.
Doesn't have the engine.
Yeah, I was about to say there's no way that has an engine in it.
Speaking of Oscar Mayer,
Oh, it's
I
not open yet.
was I was at the beach area over in Holland, Michigan, and as I'm leaving, I look over and they had an Oscar Mayer Wienermobile sitting in the parking lot. And I really wanted to get a picture, but I wasn't able to. That would have been hilarious to see it get posted.
Here's a 2015 Hendrick Motorsports NASCAR. It was like the last of the COT Camaros. With a 2019 Chevy Camaro body installed in Denver, North Carolina for $115,000. There's a Penske spelled incorrectly ARCA car. Needs an engine, but $25,000.
Everybody thinking that Roger Penske was completely arrogant at IMSA this past
Yeah. There's a lot of people that are like, that's very arrogant of you walking around wearing a vest that says boss on it. Oh, Hugo Boss. Oh, okay.
Yep.
You want to buy Chris Buescher's 2001? Yeah, Buescher was driving the 17 in 2021, wasn't he?
Yeah, should have been.
Yeah, so you want to buy his, hey, it's in your area. The show car from 2021, 49.5.
Does it have the engine? I'll drive it.
It's just a show car, but I think so. Here's a 2001 NASCAR Busch Series Skittles car, $25,000 in New Jersey.
It's funny. Old cars are out there all over the place.
Yeah, and you're seeing people like buying them and like rebuilding them. I have a shop full of ARCA cars in Athens, Georgia. Yeah, there you go.
It'd be fun. Just build a little museum.
Is a older ARCA car for $18,500. It's a Ford Fusion. Actually, their ARCA's website is pretty terrible. Hey, here's a 2007 Impala COT with a Dale Jr. wrap on it.
Oh, those COT cars.
That was such a ridiculous
The car of tomorrow that didn't last very long.
I mean, it did, just not with that stupid, dumb spoiler.
Yeah. At least they got rid of that.
Here's a guy for $55,000, took a 2017 Toyota NASCAR and turned it into a full motion simulator.
Now that would be fun to do.
Put that in your garage. You can do Wednesday Night Dash. You got to climb through and put the net down. Yeah. 1990 Chevy Lumina. It's in Elber Federal Field, Indiana. I don't know if that's actually a place. Here's a Randy LaJoy 1998 Chevy Monte Carlo. 19.5.
Wow.
Down in Palm Beach, Florida. It's a 2006 Nationwide car for $25,000. Oh, it's a chassis only. In Madison, Alabama, get your 2004 Jeff Gordon. Oh man, I'm sending you this link just so you can see this. I'm putting it in the chat here. I just want to see your reaction to this. Check that out.
Pull this up here.
There's no engine in it, but like, could you imagine putting that in your driveway?
That'd be awesome.
Oh man, this is great. Car is in perfect condition. There's a small hairline crack where the fenders meet, as per usual on these cars. A paint crack. Never been out of my garage. This
I
car
would find a way to drop an engine in that thing.
listen to this. This car ran 7 times in 2004 with Jeff Gordon as the driver. It was Michigan, Texas, Atlanta, and he finished 3rd at Homestead. He got the pole in the spring race at Michigan. He'll accept PayPal or cash. Should you imagine trying to PayPal $28,000 to a guy?
Jeez.
PayPal, like, excuse me. Excuse me.
We have questions.
Yes. I just, can you imagine the day like when a hauler shows up in your front of your house and opens it up and slides a NASCAR out of the back of it and slides it up your driveway?
Yeah, I would do that, and I would just drop an engine into it.
I'd do that, and I pull that up into the garage, and my wife's like, "Oh, your new bed is here. I hope you enjoy sleeping in that." But I did.
Maybe our team here will really take off, and
We'll get some get an ARCA car
can do
going here. But real quick before we wrap, over the weekend during the Bristol race, they put up a QR code to enter to win a brand new 2024 Ford Mustang GT Fastback. Of course, I go up with my phone, scan the QR code. I'm standing in the living room entering the contest. And I just look back at my wife, who's just looking at me like, no, don't even think about it. But I entered. And it stopped at don't even think about it, because she knows there's a very, very slim chance that I win. But oh my God, please. The racing gods need to let me win this contest just because I want to see the reaction when I'm told I have to sleep in that car when it shows up at my house.
I mean, look at the shirt you're wearing.
That's right.
It all plays in hand.
That's right. I will well, no, I won't. My garage can, like in the summertime, my garage can get up to like 110. I'm like, I don't think I'm sleeping in my garage. Anyway, we've gone long today, as we frequently do.
Always.
Belle Isle for behind closed doors.
Yep.
Nashville for Wednesday Night Dash next week. And then Wednesday Night Dash will be off the first week of October. And then we got our 2 to finish the year out. We're done for the year.
Yeah. And then BCD still has 4 races to go, and we go the week after. And we got the special race.
We announced our special race for all our series drivers to get together. We're going to do a multi-class race at the old Atlanta configuration. We're going to do Cup Truck Series. We're going to do the 1987 NASCARs, and we're going to do the Gen 4 NASCAR. And put all those on a track together and do multi-class racing, because why not?
What's the worst that can happen?
That nobody finishes.
Well, we'll have fast repairs, so eventually somebody will.
Unlimited fast repairs. We're going to do a 50% caution, I think. Yeah, this is going to be wild. I don't know, like, we might need to have Taka play race control to throw the caution and keep an eye on things for us, because I think this is going to be so chaotic. Like, I mean, everyone's going to be they're going to be letting their guard down, I think. And otherwise, where you might be like, I don't want to wreck myself. You might like, I don't care. Or you also, too, with these 87s, those cars, have you driven one of the 87s yet?
Yeah, those things are a blast, and they do not turn.
They do not. It's like you have to like stop and then turn, or brake hard and turn. And the other thing on there are what is it? One of the super speedways, it might maybe both of them, but like you have to brake at points. You have to like brake the 87, so you're just gonna go right into the wall.
Yeah, even at Talladega, you can't go full throttle. You gotta back out a little bit.
I don't know. What do you think? First thoughts. Gen 4 87 truck. What do you do?
I'm probably gonna lean truck, but I'm gonna take all 3 cars out, see what I like and what feels good.
I think I'm leaning truck as well. I have the Monte Carlo that I bought when it first came out, and I've driven it like twice. I have a hunch a lot of people are going to do the 87s or the Gen 4, and there aren't going to be a lot of trucks.
Yeah, I haven't fully decided yet. Leaning truck.
We're gonna have just having a truck race. Everyone's
That'd be funny.
I think actually I think there's gonna be quite a few Gen 4s out there. So some of the guys who don't do as much oval racing, they already got the Gen 4 when they bought the ARCA car, so they're gonna probably default on the Gen 4. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a split of Gen 4s fighting trucks, and that could get very wild.
Yeah, I
But
did New Atlanta with the 87s and trucks, and I forget what the other car was, and that was kind of wild.
honestly, you know what we should do? We should if Taka doesn't race with us, we should just let him, like, even if he doesn't talk much during the broadcast, we should just go live and just let him just so we can like broadcast this chaos. Because usually, like last year, we did it behind, we didn't broadcast it. I put a replay of the race up where I just kind of did a follow the leader cam. But for something like this, I think people want to see this.
Yeah, maybe just for the broadcast, you can pull in whoever and just kind of live commentate and talk with him during the race.
Taka just grab people out of in the Discord, like, "Hey, what's up? I'm driving."
I'll talk with Taka during the race, and
it's like Clint,
oh man, what is going on here?
what was that? It was like Clint Boyer on the SRX. He's like, kind of busy here.
He's like asking him, like, hold on a second.
Anyway, so frracingonline.com at FR Racing Online. We'll see you this Saturday night, Sunday morning, depending on where you live, for race day live at Suzuka.
And thanks for tuning in. We will see you next week.
Well, no, we'll see you Saturday night, and then we'll see you next week.
Saturday night, Sunday, whatever time it is for you, and then Garage Talk itself.
That's right. Friday. We're gonna get liquored up as we watch Formula One in the middle of the night. Woo!
Yeah, there might be a little bit.
What could go wrong?
Just,
I mean, the last time we did this for a late night Formula One race, we had that chaos in Australia.
Hey, maybe I'll add to the fun.
All right, we'll see you next time.
Take care.